Hi everybody, Scott Carothers from the Ceramic Tile Education Foundation here today to continue our conversation about time management. You might not think time management has much to do with the equipment that we use every day, but it really does. Take for instance this cutter. It's a great cutter, does a great job of cutting our tile. We can look at that from talks in the past where this is much more efficient, where we're making all straight cuts, where this is great for L cuts and intricates, but we see that there's some time savings with this one. But if this goes down, if we lose the quality of the wheel, it's damaged in some way, we're 30 miles away from the shop, we don't have a wheel, we don't have a cutter. So my suggestion is always to put an extra wheel on the back of the cutter, just tape it in there, forget it, and then whenever you have a wheel that may go bad, you got it in, put it back together, you're back in business. When we look at the wet saw, we have some parts of this that have to be quality maintained as well. First off, make sure that we're always on a GFCI, and in this case, we're plugging that in to the receptacle at the panel or at the wall. We never plug the GFCI into the end of an extension cord because it's not effective. It always gets plugged in at the source. So I've disconnected that so we're safe. We're going to look at the wet saw. The tray, if we don't keep it well lubed, all it takes is a little bit of lubricant on the wheels on the back, and we can get that working really effectively, and our cuts are very, very easily made. When we look at the saw, we have a blade on there. Without the blade, much in the way of the blade of the cutter. If we don't have a blade that's properly fit and in good condition, it can wobble. Somebody gets into the truck and they bang the side of the blade, it gets warped, and we get a wiggle in there, and we're going to have chipped tile the next time. So all we need to do is take this off, and what I like to do is put a 3/8 or ½ inch bolt somewhere in the truck that you can have it sticking out. You put that through the blade, put a wing nut or a clevis pin in there, keeps that nice and safe. The other thing you want to do is always have a spare blade. That can be tucked to the back so that that one's always there in case you need it if something does get damaged on the job. But really the one that you want to be careful of is your glass blade. So if you have a glass blade just specifically for the glass work that you do, tuck it to the back so it's not one that the helper is going to grab and use readily. This is your backup, and then this one would be the one that would be changed out every day. The last thing that has to function on this wet saw is the pump. Don't wait till that pump is so far entrenched in sludge that you have to use a margin trowel to dig it out. Take care of that pump. At the end of the day, pop it into a bucket of water, let it run for a minute or two, cleans all the debris out of that. That way you have a really good operating pump. The other thing is it's always good to have one on the shelf in the truck, is just have a backup pump so that if it goes bad, we're still in really good shape for the work that we're going to do. Last thing we have in our toolbox is our mixer. Make sure it's well maintained, the cord is not damaged in any way. You've got a mixing paddle on the end that's cleaned up and done effectively every day at the end of the job, and we want to make sure that it doesn't end up looking like this. This is really a mess because somebody was too lazy to clean it up. Spin it in a bucket of water. You can spin it in some sand, whatever you need to clean it up, but keep it maintained. It works a heck of a lot better when it's done in that way. The other thing is if you're using a mixer like this one, this actually belongs to the drywall people. This is for mixing joint compound. When we mix with this paddle in thin set, first of all, it throws it all over your pants, but the other thing is it whips a lot of air into the mix and makes it much weaker. So this came from the drywall people. Let's give it back to the drywall people so that we are using the proper tools. So if we take care of all these items, our cutter, our wet saw, and our mixer, it's going to give us more time on the job to do the job that we're designed to do and do it well, qualifying us as qualified labor. So think about it.